Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Jam?
And I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean? What I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I put on a bum of one tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. So salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, boxing in Argentina. As the family today, it's Thursday afternoon, getting late in this big week of boxing history now. The Boxing Around the World series continues today with Argentina, okay? Rather nice, big country in boxing, Argentina. A powerhouse, okay? That's Carlos Monzon right there on the thumbnail. The greatest Argentinian boxer ever. We're gonna take a look at him today. And some other Argentinian boxers and a little history. And we're going to look at some fights involving some Argentinian boxers today. We're going to look at the Luis Firpo and Jack Dempsey fight, which lasts 2 rounds, but it was 10 knockdowns in it. Firpo knocked Dempsey down first, knocked him out of the ring, and Dempsey climbed back in and knocked him down 10 times. And guess what? The fight only lasts 2 rounds. So that was the same Jack Dempsey that got knocked out by fireman Jim Flynn in 25 seconds in the drone fight. Remember we talked about the other day. Yeah, that Jack Dempsey. They climbed back in the ring and knocked Louis Firpo down, the wall bull of the parapost, 10 times. It's not getting stopped by no fireman Jim Flynn legitimately in those 25 seconds. So that was a fixed fight. The Bob got to Jack at that time. But so yeah, that's what we're doing today. Boxing Around the World Series continues with Argentina today on Cast Sports, the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. How's everybody today? We're getting close to the weekend. I know we got Dan Lazias back in there, rising young Puerto Rican star in the sport, and the GOAT defending her heavyweight title. Only person, man or woman, to be undisputed in the four-belt era in not one, not two, three weight classes. The GOAT. Okay, she's back in the ring this weekend. Lonnie Daniels, credible opponent, but yeah, the GOAT will probably get a decision. But hey, the GOAT stopped when she first won that title. She stopped the girl. That was like her fourth GOAT stopped the woman. It was only like her fourth knockout. So maybe going up in weight got a little bit more power or something. I don't know. We have to see. Okay. But she'll be in there this weekend. We don't have long to wait. How's everybody this Thursday afternoon? Hit the like, subscribe. There's the Cash app scrolling across the bottom, super chat, all that good stuff. But like and subscribe, I'm good with that. Just do that much. Watch it on the playback, you can still like and subscribe. Get a lot of watches on the playback, but don't get too many likes. Seems like when people watch the playback, they don't hit the like button for some reason. I don't know. Can you hit the like on the playback? I usually end up with the likes. Like I got almost 200 views yesterday, but I still ended up with the same amount of likes I ended the show with. So that always happens, but I don't know. But okay, but for the highlights of boxing history today, we are down to super flyweight / junior bantamweight. Of course, it depends on the sanctioning body, what they call it, super or junior. But whatever they call it, it's a 115-pound division. And that's what we're looking at today for the highlights of boxing history. The top 10 currently active super bantamweights. Let's get into that. I was muted. I'm sorry. Yeah, we are going to take a look at boxing in Argentina today. I was muted all that time. But this is going to be the Boxing Around the World Series continues today with Argentina. Okay, we're going to look at a little history of boxing in Argentina. Some of the top boxers to come out of Argentina, and some fights involving some Argentinian boxers. We're going to take a long look at a couple of Argentinian boxers, Sergio Martinez and Victor Galindez. We're going to take a long look at them two. But for the highlights of boxing history today, we're going to list the top 10 currently active super flyweight / junior bantamweight. That's Bam Rodriguez. Of course, he's number one. You know, some divisions, number one is a no-brainer. 115 is one of those. Bam. Anybody who's doing it currently at the top 10 at 115, and don't put Bam number one, what Roger Mayweather said. I'll just leave it at that. What Roger Mayweather said. You don't have Bam at number one at 115. You know, I don't know how far your knowledge on boxing goes. Okay. So let's get into it, though. Currently active top 10 at super flyweight / junior bantamweight, 115. Okay, let's look at a brief history of the division first before we get started, okay? We're going to look at a quick, little short 2-minute brief history of the division. If I can get this to act right. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay. I usually have that ready, but today, not one of them days. How's everybody? It's Thursday, almost at the weekend. We're getting ready to look at a brief history of super flyweight, junior bantamweight, right? Isn't that what I said? Yeah, there we go. 115. There we go. A brief little history of it. Okay, let's take a look at that. Now, super flyweight, like many of the other divisions, is considered to be created in 1920 by the New York Walker Law. It was first named as junior bantamweight at a weight limit of 115 pounds. However, there are no records of any titles held in this division until 1980. In 1980, the WBC reintroduced the division and called it super flyweight. Rafael Orono would become the inaugural champion of the modern version of the title after beating Taeyong Hoon Lee in a 15-round split decision. The WBA presented their own version of the belt in 1981. The IBF 2 years later in 1983, and the WBO in 1989. The longest title reign in the division is held by a Thai boxer, Kosai Galaxy, with 19 title defenses. Some notable super flyweight champions over the years include Elias Picao, Gilberto Roman, Jero Watanabe, Mark Too Sharp Johnson, Johnny Tapia, Danny Romero, Kosai Galaxy, Fernando Montiel, and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Okay? All those guys held the title at 115 at one time or another, among many others. Okay, so now let's look at the current top 10 in the division. Currently active guys fighting right now at super flyweight. Okay? There we go. All right. Mike Rim is in the building. What's up, Mike? How are you today? Yeah, we're gonna boxing around the world continues today with Argentina. So just gonna skip over and find some big boxing countries. Argentina, I'm not gonna waste time on Algeria and Algeria and Calberia and all that kind of stuff. Argentina today. But first, we're gonna look at these top 10 115 pounders, super flyweight / junior bantamweight. Okay, at number one, of course, is Bam Rodriguez. You know, now see anybody don't have Bam number one at 115. What Roger Mayweather said. Okay, Bam Rodriguez, number one. Jesse Rodriguez. Now, Bam is the current WBC and Ring Magazine junior bantamweight champion. He is known for his offensive-minded, pressure-fighting style, with a strong emphasis on defense from his southpaw stance. Bam currently is 22 wins, no losses, 15 knockouts for Bam Rodriguez. And Bam ain't playing because he just fought last weekend and he already on the schedule for his next fight in November. Okay, Bam ain't messing around. And that's something. Just fought last weekend and already on the schedule for his next fight in November. Will that be his third fight this year? Probably second. I don't remember him fighting. I don't know if he fought earlier or not, but I know he's back on the schedule. Okay. Ranked number 2 at 115, the veteran. Ron Francisco Estrada. Now, Estrada is a two-weight world champion, known for excellent defense, footwork, and an understanding of distance at a different level. Almost 50 fights, 49 to be exact. 45 wins, 4 losses, 28 knockouts for Juan Francisco Estrada. Number 3, 115, Fernando Martinez. Fernando Martinez. It's Fernando. Martinez is an Argentinian boxer we're talking about today, who currently holds the WBA title in the division. He is an aggressive pressure fighter who often closes the distance to fight on the inside. He is also a high volume puncher, averaging 70 punches per round. Okay. Martinez is currently 18-0 with 9 knockouts. Rank number 3 at 115. Number 4, Kazuto Ioka. Kazuto Ioka. I said he was retired, but he fought last year, so I haven't heard anything about him being retired. So he's on here. Kazuto Ioka. Ioka is a Japanese professional boxer who has won major titles in 4 weight classes, a first for a Japanese boxer. 31 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 16 knockouts. Rounding up the top 5 at junior bantamweight is Fumalele Kafu. Fumalele Kafu. Okay. I think that's his name. Crush the Legend. What's up, Crush? How are you today, bro? And the Drunk Irishman in the building. Okay. You subscribe to Crush the Legend and the Drunk Irishman. All of us already is, though, so you know. Yeah. Everybody knows about Crush the Legend, 6:30 Monday through Friday, and the Drunk Irishman. Some great videos. Okay, we're just going over the 115 super flyweight / junior bantamweight, and we round out the top 5. Fumalele Kafu. Okay, that's Fumalele on the left facing us. Now, Kafu is the current WBO bantamweight champion. He's a South African professional boxer with a record of 11 wins, 1 loss, 3 draws, 8 knockouts. Okay, number 6, Kosai Tanaka. Kosai Tanaka. Tanaka is another Japanese 4-division champion. After winning his first major title in his 5th professional fight, he became the fastest Japanese fighter to win a title. He is known for a mobile and aggressive boxing style, characterized by swift footwork, precise combinations, and a strong focus on defense. 22 fights into his pro career, 20 wins, 2 losses, 11 knockouts. Number 7 is Pedro Guevara. Number 7 at 115. Pedro Guevara. There he is in the middle. Look like he just beat somebody. Pedro is a Mexican professional boxer and a former WBC junior featherweight champion. Guevara is a veteran boxer with 49 fights in his professional career. His current record is 43 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 22 knockouts. A couple more to go. The other Maloney brother, the other one was in the top 10 at bantamweight. Andrew Maloney is at number 8 at junior bantamweight. Maloney is an Australian professional boxer who held the division's WBA title in 2020 and the interim title in 2019. His twin brother Jason is also a professional boxer. They are known as the Australian Bruise Brothers. Andrew is 27 wins, 4 losses, 17 knockouts. Number 9 at 115, Carlos Cuadras. Carlos Cuadras. Cuadras is a Mexican boxer who is in his 17th year as a pro. He currently has 50 fights and over 300 rounds of boxing under his belt at the professional level. He's a real vet. His last outing was in May of this year, where he won by unanimous decision over Luis Guzman Torres. Okay? And Cuadras held the WBC title in the division from 2014 to 2016. 44 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 28 knockouts. 50 fights on the dot in the division in his career. And 10, Sarissa Soa Rungbasai. Sarissa Soa Rungbasai. Did I change it? I don't know. Yeah, I did. That's Sarissa. That's Carlos Cuadras, right? There's Sarissa Soa Rungbasai. Probably butchering his name, but y'all know me. Okay? Now, he's a Thai professional boxer, known for his aggressive, powerful, and sometimes flat-footed boxing style. He's also known for a strong Thai boxing background, which influences his fighting approach. He has held multiple super flyweight world championships between 2013 and 2019. Now, he's a real vet, 66 fights, 58 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 47 knockouts, 81% knockout to win ratio. I'm not gonna say his name again. Sarissa Soa Rungbasai, okay? That's right, because I looked it up on that pronunciation app. Okay, so now let's boxing around the world, Argentina today. Okay, let's get into that. All about Argentina today, okay? And that's the greatest boxer to come out of Argentina right there. Carlos Monzon. Ended his life in prison. He killed his wife, threw her off a second-floor balcony, and then jumped off behind her like they fell, but somebody saw him throw her off. And then he was in jail for murder and was getting furloughs. They do things differently in Argentina. He was home for a weekend furlough and then died in a car accident on his way back, actually going back. You let a convicted murderer out in the United States and see if he come back to the prison. Carlos was going back and died in a car accident, so he should have stayed his butt in the first place. In prison for murder, getting a weekend furlough. Where they do that at? Argentina. Okay. Let's take a look at boxing in Argentina. Let's get started. Okay, boxing around the world. Okay, boxing's roots in Argentina can be traced back to the late 19th century, introduced by British sailors visiting port cities in Argentina. The early boxing matches were organized by these British seamen and eventually led to the founding of the Argentina Boxing Federation on March 23, 1920. Now, the sport gained significant popularity in the country and experienced the golden age, roughly from the 1940s to the late 1970s, during which several Argentine fighters achieved international acclaim and world championships. Some of the most notable Argentine boxers from this era and beyond include Luis Angel Firpo. We're going to get into these boxers later more deeply. But Firpo was known as the Wild Bull of the Pampas. He challenged Jack Dempsey for the heavyweight title in 1923, a fight remembered as one of boxing's most violent 2 rounds. We're going to cover that fight. We're going to cover some fights involving some Argentine boxers. That's one of them, Firpo versus Dempsey. The great Pascual Perez, another Argentine fighter, Argentina's first boxing champion. He won a gold medal at the 1948 Olympics and held the flyweight crown from 1954 to 1960. He was the first boxing world champion for Argentina, and he won a gold medal. Carlos Monzon, an undisputed world middleweight champion for 7 years in the 1970s, defended his title 14 times. Nicolino Loche, nicknamed the Untouchable, he was renowned for his exceptional defensive skills, thought to be the greatest defensive fighter of all time. Super lightweight champion, the great Oscar Bonavena, a heavyweight contender in the 1960s and 1970s during the golden age of the heavyweight division. He fought against legends like Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. Fought during the golden age, fought all of them. Victor Galindez, we're going to go deep on Victor today too. A powerful and relentless fighter who held the WBA light heavyweight title in the 1970s. And Sergio Martinez, a more recent champion. He achieved success in the super welterweight and middleweight divisions between 2009 and 2014. And we're going to talk about these fighters some more in a little while, a little more deeply, okay? These Argentine boxers, okay? Argentinian, I don't know how you say it. Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? We're going to get some of your old fights today, Al. Mike Mazik. What's up, Mike Mazik in the building? Salute Mike Mazik, Al Booger in here. Boxing around the world. Argentina today. Okay, we're going to look at some old fights. We're going to look at some boxers from Argentina. Boxing around the world, Argentina. Now, boxing continues to be a significant part of Argentina's sporting culture, producing world-renowned boxers of both genders, men and women. In fact, Argentina boasts the highest number of female boxing champions globally, according to the Women's International Boxing Association. It says Argentina has the most women champions in history. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So now, yeah, let's continue. Let me get my tablet. Come over here. Excuse me for one moment, please. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Ow. Damn. Okay. I'm back. Yeah, let's continue talking about Argentina. Got a good one for you today. I think y'all gonna enjoy this. Stick around, this is good. Anybody come in? Hit the like and subscribe, please. 60 away from 1,000. Okay? 60 away from 1,000. Now, okay. Now, perhaps the only reason people don't name Argentina as a fight-mad country more often is that it is so overshadowed in the crowded picture of Latin America. After all, it has to share the Spanish-speaking Western Hemisphere with giant boxing countries like Mexico, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. Yet, while Argentina indeed stands behind those mega boxing countries, it is only just behind them, especially these days. It's hard to see Argentina as anything but a boxing powerhouse, okay? Anything but a boxing powerhouse, Argentina. Got some great active boxers too. Mm-hmm. Now, fans and venues. Let's take a look at the fans and venues down in Argentina. Now, one thing you realize when you study the records of Argentine fighters is that Argentina has a solid club fighting circuit. Its Argentine fighters have absolutely no need to leave their homeland to start their careers. Now, on the other hand, Argentina simply does not have the ability to draw traveling fight fans or market television rights to serve as the platform for a major event. So the best fighters inevitably leave Argentina to pursue big fights and world titles elsewhere. So The country has plenty of fight fans and fight venues, but not enough for the green stuff to consistently stage big fights at home. The country has clearly come back from the slump of the late 1980s and early 1990s, though. Now, their amateur system down there in Argentina. Okay, look at their amateur system. Despite its solid gym scene and pro fight circuit, Argentina does not do well in international amateur competition. The country usually places just 1 or 2 fighters in the Olympics, where they never do well. And in the last 40 years, Argentine boxers have collected just 3 medals, 1 silver, 2 bronze at the World Amateur Championships, right? Just 3 in 40 years, okay? Now, most serious boxers in Argentina seem to go onto the pro circuit as soon as possible. They don't hang around the amateur ranks too long. The professional system down there. My hand always hits me buttons and I don't. There we go. I got it back though. With a thriving club scene, Argentina clearly has no dearth of gym and trainers. Luna Park in Buenos Aires might be the national cathedral of boxing, but there is plenty of activity across the rest of the country. Okay, a lot of boxing clubs and stuff down there. Just don't have the money to draw the big fights. Notice there's hardly ever any big fights in Argentina, ever. They don't have the money to draw the big fights and the promoters and all that. Historical significance. We better talk about that now. Now stop and think about the place Argentine fighters have had in the history of boxing. And one quickly realizes there hasn't actually been an era that didn't have esteemed boxers from Argentina. From Luis Firpo to the legendary Carlos Monzon to Sergio Martinez. They have always been Argentine contenders, and some of them have become quite famous. Now, the country casts a shadow in boxing comparable to Britain, but with a smaller population from which to draw athletes from. And while standing isolated from the traditional promotional centers in the United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Europe. That's why they can't get the big venues down there, you know? Okay, so next is we're gonna talk about this fight between Jack Dempsey and Luis Firpo. Okay, Jack Dempsey and Luis Firpo had a classic fight down there. 2 rounds, had like 10 or 11 knockdowns. That's Jack Dempsey going through the ropes on that knockdown. But he came back in the ring and knocked Firpo down 10 times and stopped him. And so remember the other day we talking about this fight where Fireman Jim Flynn stopped Jack Dempsey in 25 seconds. That was the Mafia show. That was definitely fixed. Terry Akers in the building. What's up, Terry? My favorite sister-in-law, always supporting. How are you today, Terry? Yeah. And then Jack Dempsey and Fireman Jim Flynn fought a year later. Jack Dempsey beat the brakes off him and stopped him in the first round. And when Fireman Jim Flynn's corner threw the towel in, he was crawling around in the front row of the spectators, couldn't even find his way back to the ring. Okay? This is the man that stopped Jack Dempsey in 25 seconds. But yeah, the Mafia got you, Jack Dempsey, in that fight. Yeah, that was clear what happened. Yeah, that was the mob ran boxing back around that time. Yeah. You had to pay him and all that if you wanted a title fight, because if you didn't, they extorted fighters just like they extorted companies and stuff. Because if you didn't pay him, guess what? You wasn't getting the big fights. Simple as that. That's just what it was. Who needs to, like Perro said the other day, now the sanctioning bodies are the new mafia. Yes. The sanctioning bodies are the new mafia. Let me see if I can get this going for us. It is right there. Okay. And this is called the farthest round in boxing history. September 14th, 1923. Dempsey versus Firpo. Jack Dempsey versus Firpo. And Firpo is from Argentina. We're going to look at a few fights. I'm doing great, Terry. We're going to look at a few fights. Your sister in there arguing with Sierra. So, okay, but yeah. Yeah, this is a fight. We got a couple fights involving Argentine fighters. Louis Firpo, the Bull of the Pampers. September 14th, 1923. Dempsey versus Firpo. Okay? Get into that. How's everybody? It's almost weekend time again. We got the GOAT in there this weekend, Clarissa Shields. And Zan Desires. Young rising star. Young rising Puerto Rican fighter. Still undefeated so far. Time for Xander to step it up. Boots just came to 54. So 54 is a pretty live division right now. Some guys will get in there with Boots. They act like they were scared to at 47, but we'll see. Okay, Dempsey versus Firpo. Here we go. I was stalling. I got it. Now, after a full century, it may be difficult to appreciate the impact of the legendary Dempsey versus Firpo fight and how it transformed the public image of heavyweight king Jack Dempsey, aka the Manasseh Mauler. This is because many forget how Dempsey was, in fact, a rather unpopular figure for most of his championship reign. The all-American celebrity version of Dempsey, likable and endearing, did not emerge until the later years of the great champion's career. Now, before his legendary battle with Firpo, Dempsey's fame, not to mention the huge gates at his fights, had as much to do with scandal and the dark side of human nature as it did with the popularity of boxing. After winning the world title in 1919, Dempsey was sued for divorce by Maxine Cates, a woman of less than high moral standing, to put it mildly, whom Jack had married during the time when he was riding the rails, fighting in bars, and living in hobo camps and whorehouses. The trial and its revelations became a full-blown scandal, as it not only brought to light Dempsey's squalid background, but strongly suggested that the heavyweight champion of the world had perhaps not fully deserved his deferment to avoid the military draft during World War I. Yeah, he caught a lot of flack for that, not fighting in the First World War. Jack did. B3 Picks in the building. What's up, B3? Good to see you today. Yeah, B3, every Thursday that we're doing a little series on looking at boxing in different countries. It's like we went through all the states. Took us like a year to do that. Now we're going through the world. Not every country, but ones with good boxing background. And today is Argentina. This is like the third week. We're still in the alphabetical order at Argentina today. Okay? We're talking about this fight between Jack Dempsey and Louis Firpo, an Argentine fighter. Okay? Now, Dempsey became the bad guy, and while promoter Tex Ricard took full advantage, most notably in Jack's fight with French war hero Georges Carpentier. That clash between good and evil created the first $1 million gate, but did nothing to rehabilitate the heavyweight champion's image. For 3 solid years, Jack Dempsey, while without question the biggest name in American sports, had to endure the disapproval of the general public, not to mention taunts of slacker everywhere he went. That was because of his situation with avoiding the draft in World War I. That changed after his life and death brawl with Louis Firpo, this fight right here. Now, no one questioned Firpo as a legitimate challenge to Dempsey, though few gave him a chance to win. Big and Tough, the Argentinian strongman, had defeated Jess Willett and Gunboat Smith. Yeah, Jess Willett was like 6'7" or something like that, and Gunboat Smith was a tough customer, right? Tough as a gunboat. Firpo had beat Jess Willett and Gunboat Smith, among others, to establish himself as a top contender. 80,000 people packed the Polo grounds to witness Dempsey's fifth title defense. And after the referee had delivered his instructions and the fighters had removed their towels and robes, the crowd immediately saw the difference in size between the two men. Firpo outweighed Dempsey by 25 pounds and had a far bigger upper body. Some wondered if Dempsey might finally have a serious challenge on his hands. Okay, it is Firpo. I couldn't find a full body shot, but he's big. Look at the big ass head he got. He was a big guy, Firpo. That's the Argentine guy right there, okay? So people were saying, Dempsey might have a serious challenge on his hands in this one. At the opening bell, the champion attacked. Dempsey missed the wall left, and Firpo, retreating in the face of Dempsey's assault, countered with a right that landed flush and dropped Dempsey to one knee. The huge crowd roared, rising as one. No one would sit down again until the ferocious battle had ended. Dempsey lurched back to his feet, and the two warriors collided again in the center of the ring, muscling each other in close before finding punching room and letting loose with wall haymakers. Both men connecting. 20 seconds into the fight, Dempsey landed his potent left, and the hook sent Firpo to the canvas. The challengers scrambled up, and they immediately took up where they left off at, grappling and pounding. Every blow thrown with intent to end the fight, right? The massive crowd going berserk as the fighters mauled and wrestled and punched away. Yeah, they was going at it. He had like 11 knockdowns in this fight. Firpo, while bigger and perhaps stronger, lacked Dempsey's agility and footwork. And this proved key in the knockdowns the champion scored. While attacking and firing with both fists, Dempsey continually whirled and spun, turning Firpo into clinches, and then striking while the challenger was off balance. Because like they say, Dempsey and nobody else was doing that kind of stuff back then, turning people and that kind of stuff, but just Dempsey and Joe Gans. Because it was mainly like slugfest back then, but Dempsey and Joe Gans was fighting scientifically. Dempsey was turning them and everything, hitting him while he was off balance. Now, Dempsey's vicious body attack also factored in, with two of the knockdowns courtesy of hard shots to Firpo's belly. 7 times, Firpo hit the canvas, and more than once, it appeared certain he was finished. But the stubborn wall bull of the Pampas kept getting up and battling back, despite the fact Dempsey was allowed to hover after each knockdown and strike Firpo the second his gloves left the canvas. Yeah, not too long after that, they didn't have the neutral corner rule then. After a knockdown, you could stand right there by the referee while he counted, right? It was like not long after this that they started the neutral corner rule. So as soon as Firpo got up, Dempsey jumped right back on him, you know? Amazingly, what did I do? Bear with me for a second. Okay. I'm hitting buttons and stuff. Okay. We're going to get back in 1 second. I got excited. I was getting into it, man. Okay, where were we? Yeah, Dempsey we was talking about how you could stand right there by the fighter. Where we go right here. Amazingly, after the 7th knockdown, and with less than a minute left in the round, Firpo somehow gathered himself and launched a ferocious counterattack that almost ended the fight. To everyone's astonishment, he put Dempsey on the run with a volley of powerful rights, driving the champion to the ropes, where a final right hand detonated on Jack's jaw and propelled him out of the ring. Few could believe what they were seeing, as Dempsey, his feet high in the air, landed on his back in the press section. For a shocking moment, it appeared that Firpo, who seconds ago was picking himself up off the canvas, would win the fight. Yeah, here we go right here. Knocked Dempsey out of the ring. Hear that? Yeah, that's Jack Dempsey, feet up in there, going through the ropes. Mm-hmm. It looked like Firpo was going to upset the world. This Dempsey going through the ropes. At this time, there existed no aprons on boxing rings, and Dempsey fell directly onto the table of the ringside press. Several reporters tried to push him back through the ropes, frantically working to get him off their newspapers, off their typewriters, so they could continue recording what was taking place in the ring. Now, back in the ring and on his feet, a dazed Dempsey backpedaled as Firpo resumed his attack. The Argentinian desperately hammered away with his right, but the champion survived and amazingly returned fire with 2 hard rights of his own just before the bell finally rang and ended the round. And guess what? All of that was the first round. Okay? That was just the first round. Right? That was just the first round. In their corners, both fighters were suffering the effects of perhaps the wildest round in boxing history up to that point. Legend has it that a stunned Dempsey sitting on his stool was virtually catatonic until Jack Kearns found the smelling salts and put them under the champion's nose. Dempsey blinked and looked at his handlers, who were frantically slapping him and dousing him with water. And Dempsey asked, "What round was I knocked out in?" Dempsey thought the fight was over. He asked his handlers when they got him back around, "What round was I knocked out in?" But as the bell rang for round 2, it was soon evident that it was Firpo, not Dempsey, who was about to be knocked out. The Wild Bull's legs appeared barely strong enough to support his weight, and his punches were powerless. The champion quickly had Firpo on the defensive, and a volley of left hooks put the challenger down for the 8th time. But the game Argentinian warrior climbed back to his feet once again and tried one last right-hand swing before Dempsey struck with a sharp 1-2. The final punch, a right hand to the jaw, as Firpo was already on his way down. The gallant challenger resembled a man having an afternoon nap as he slowly rolled over on his back. This time, he could not get up. While barely 4 minutes long, the brief but electrifying brawl had provided more thrills than all of Jack's previous title defenses put together. And the shock of seeing the heavyweight king pounded through the ropes left a huge impression, winning the Manasseh Mauler new respect. For years, he had been the invincible champion, no one could relate to or care about, especially after the scandal, his divorce, and the accusations of his being a draft dodger. But seeing him come so close to defeat made him human again. Yep. The fight sort of redeemed Jack. And for the next 3 years, Dempsey burnished that more appealing image as he stayed out of the prize ring and instead became a full-time celebrity, appearing in various exhibitions, stage plays, and movies. And then marrying gorgeous film star Estelle Taylor. He was more popular than ever by this time. And he finally fought again in 1926. And in fact, his defeats to Gene Tunney only served to endear him all the more to an American public, which could not relate to the aloof new champion, Gene Tunney. And by the time Dempsey retired in 1928, he had become not just a star of boxing and the Roaring Twenties, but an icon of America. Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler. Yeah, that was a great fight, just 2 rounds. They did enough in that first round for an entire 15-round fight. Okay, next, we are going to talk about Sergio Martinez, Argentine fighter who fought not that long ago, 2000s, retired by 2012, 15, something like that. But yeah, Sergio Martinez is next. Let's get into Sergio, okay? Great Argentine fighter. We talked about him yesterday on the knockout when he knocked out Paul Williams. Yeah, had a great one-punch knockout over Paul Williams. Yeah, that's right there. So how did Sergio Martinez become a successful boxer? Okay. How did Sergio become a successful boxer? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how Sergio became a successful boxer. Okay. Let me get that going for you. Everybody okay this Thursday afternoon? Let me go out and come back in because something ain't right. Houston, we have a problem. How did Sergio Martinez become a successful boxer? Okay. I was just looking at it. Of course, I can't find it now. Man, this is crazy. Bear with me for a moment, please. Anybody come in? I don't understand this. Yeah, and then we're going to talk about Victor Calendez too. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that. I got it now. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So let's talk about Sergio Martinez. Very good Argentine boxer. He didn't fight that long ago. Y'all done heard of Sergio. Yeah. There's Sergio, right there. On the right. He's a commentator now, you know, on I think he's on the zone, right? Sergio. He's okay. Sergio will get on my nerves sometimes though, because he focuses on one boxer and just like he's just looking at one fighter, you know. The other fighter will land 20 punches, and the one he focuses on will land 5, but he only talk about the 5. He does that. He doesn't do that a lot, but sometimes. No, I got him mixed up. That's I think I got Sergio mixed up with somebody else. I can't think of the guy I'm thinking about. I don't think it's Sergio. He's a pretty good commentator. I'm sorry, Sergio. But how did Sergio become a successful boxer? Now, Sergio Martinez, often referred to as Maravilla, became a successful boxer through a combination of talent, determination, and strategic career choices. Here are some key factors that contributed to his success. Okay? Early life and background. Born on February 21st, 1975, in Avellaneda, Argentina, Martinez faced various challenges in his early life, including poverty. He began boxing at a young age, which provided him with a way to channel his energy and ambitions. That's amateur career. Martinez honed his skills in the amateur ranks, where he gained valuable experience. He competed in numerous local and national tournaments, which helped him develop his boxing style and technique. Now, professional debut. He turned professional in 1997, where he began to build a reputation in the Argentine boxing scene. His early fights helped him gain experience and confidence, rise to prominence. Martinez strategically selected fights that would elevate his status in the boxing world. He faced tougher opponents as he progressed, which helped him improve and gain recognition. Then he could come to his title wins, okay? Lucy Goosey. Salute, Lucy Goosey. Good to see you. Again, Lucy Goosey been here before. Yeah. I think, Lucy Goosey, wasn't you the one that asked me about that promoter in that mainly promoted in California? I think that's the last. Yeah, thank you, Aunt. That's Sergio Mora, right? Yeah, that's Sergio Mora, right? Thank you, Aunt. Yeah, and salute. Yeah, I knew it was somebody. I was getting mixed up with somebody. Sergio Mora, right? They got the same initials, SM. But salute Lucy Goosey and Aunt McQueen. Okay, so now, yeah, title wins, middleweight champion. Now Martinez's breakthrough came when he captured the WBC middleweight title in 2010 by defeating the highly regarded champion. And he later unified titles in the middleweight division, solidifying his status as one of the top fighters in his weight class. Okay. Now his boxing style. He's known for his speed, agility, and unorthodox boxing style. His ability to move quickly and effectively evade punches made him a challenging opponent. His knockout power also contributed to his success, as he won many fights by knockout. Some of his key fights. Throughout his career, Martinez faced and defeated several notable fighters, including Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Paul Williams, and Kelly Pavlik. These wins not only showcased his skills, but also helped him gain a larger fan base. Resilience and work ethic. Sergio's work ethic and resilience played a crucial role in his success. He faced setbacks, including injuries and tough losses early in his career, but his determination to succeed kept him motivated. Legacy. Sergio's accomplishments in the ring have led to his recognition as one of the best middleweights of his era. His achievements earned him a place in discussions about the greatest Argentine boxers and a potential spot in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. In summary, Sergio Martinez's success as a boxer is attributed to his early start in the sport, strategic career decisions, unique fighting style, and unwavering determination to overcome challenges throughout his career. Now, what were some of Sergio's most memorable fights in his career? Yeah, and Sergio Mora, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, oh, right, yeah. I remember that loosey-goosey. I was thinking about somebody else that had asked me that. I did look up their promoter, but I haven't seen that person since. I still got it. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to come back to talk about that promoter. His name was George something. Yeah. Everybody was so fascinated with heavyweights. I think he was like the 50s, 60s, and he focused on the lower weight classes. Yeah. Oh, come on. Back to Sergio in a moment. I was trying to find out something. I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute what I'm trying to find out. I should have been did this. There we go. There we go. No, yeah, Sergio has not made the he's in the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, but he's not in the International. Nope. Sergio's not in there. That's what I was trying to look up. Wow. Is he? Anybody know? My information is telling me he's not in there. Okay. So what was some of Sergio's most memorable fights in his career? Okay, let's look at a couple of his most memorable fights. Sergio Mora, Argentine fighter. Yep. And we got Victor Galindez coming up. Okay. Oh man, it started me out at the bottom of his most memorable fights. Okay, Martinez versus Paul Williams won 2010. This fight was a significant turning point for Sergio. He faced Paul Williams, who was a highly regarded opponent. This was two. Because Paul Williams won the first one by razor-thin decision. Now, he faced Paul Williams, who was a highly regarded opponent. Sergio won by knockout in the second round, delivering a stunning left hook that is often considered one of the best knockouts in boxing history. Martinez versus Kelly Pavlik, 2010. This fight was for the WBC and the ring middleweight titles. Sergio won by unanimous decision, showcasing his speed and tactical prowess against a larger opponent, solidifying his status as a top middleweight. Sergio Martinez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. In a high-stakes fight, Sergio defended his title against Chavez Jr. Despite being ahead on the scorecards, he faced a dramatic final round where Chavez Jr. nearly knocked him out. Sergio ultimately won by unanimous decision, further establishing his legacy. Sergio versus Martin Murray. This fight was notable for Sergio's resilience. He fought through injuries and fatigue to win by unanimous decision, showcasing his heart and determination in the ring. Sergio versus Miguel Cotto, 2014. This fight marked Sergio's last significant fight before retirement. He lost to Cotto by TKO in the 10th round, but it was a highly competitive fight that highlighted Sergio's skill against another elite fighter. These fights not only defined Sergio's career, but also contributed to his reputation as one of the best middleweights of his era. Yep. Those were some of his bigger fights. Okay, so now let's go to Victor Galindez. I think Victor Galindez is next. Yeah, Victor, another Argentine fighter. We got a little something on Marcos Maidana too. You're gonna look at him and Floyd. Who really won that fight? A lot of people thought Maidana won. We're gonna look at it round by round. Okay. Now, how good was Victor Galindez? Okay, Argentine fighter. Focus on Argentina today. How good was Victor Galindez? Let's take a look at it. I did something to my phone. Yep. How good was Victor Galindez? There's Victor. There's Victor right there. Goosey Goosey says Sergio Mora doesn't make the international bus. Are we talking about that was Martinez, Goosey Goosey. But I don't think neither one of them is in. Sergio Martinez. Okay, how good was Victor Galindez? That's Victor on the screen there. Now, Victor Galindez was a rough, tough light heavyweight champion in a great era of light heavyweight, and great enough to enter the hallowed halls of the Hall of Fame. Now, Victor is in there. He sits in the Hall of Fame. He earned his place there. Let's explain. He was another dirt poor kid who became a boxer to escape poverty. Victor Galindez was born on November 2nd, 1948, as one of 10 children in a family of farmhands in Vedia, Argentina, right? In his teens, Victor moved to Buenos Aires to pursue his childhood dream of becoming a prize fighter. Now, Galindez's family was unbelievably poor, and one of his few pleasantries was going to a local zoo. His nickname, the Leopard of Moron, came from his childhood dreams of being a leopard, right? And from the place of his residence in his childhood, Moron was a part of Buenos Aires. Now, his amateur record. Galindez was a good but not great amateur who finished with an amateur record of 52 wins, 9 losses, 4 draws. The highlight of his amateur career are junior middleweight silver medalist at the 1967 Pan American Games, represented Argentina as a light middleweight at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City, but did not medal. He lost in the round of 16. Pro record. Galindez found his way to the legendary Buenos Aires Luna Park Stadium, which included a gym in which some of the best fighters in South America trained daily. Legendary Argentine heavyweight Oscar Bonavena trained there, and soon took Galindez, who was a childhood fan of Ringo's under his ring. Ringo was Oscar Bonavina's nickname, and he took Victor under his ring, right? As can be expected, Melendez, a tough, physically powerful man, patterned his style after his hero, Oscar Bonavina. By 1972, Melendez had won both the Argentine and South American light heavyweight titles. And on December 7th, 1974, he defeated Len Hutchins when the terribly battered Hutchins could not come out in the 13th round. This win gave Melendez the vacant WBA light heavyweight title. Right? And even sweeter, it was won in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Okay? Now, Melendez traveled the world, defending his title 10 times. Notably, Melendez was scheduled to defend his title in South Africa against former light heavyweight champion Bob Foster, but Foster refused a mandatory medical evaluation, and the fight was canceled on April 22nd, 1977. Okay? Melendez lost his WBA light heavyweight title to Mike Rossman on September 15th, 1978 in New Orleans, Louisiana. But he regained his title by defeating Mike Rossman in a rematch on April 14th, 1979 back in New Orleans. Okay? He got his belt back. Let's take a break and see what's going on in the chat. The year of the, Mike Wim says, the year of the curls. What are you looking at? Victor, yeah. Victor was rough though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got his title back from Rossman, right back in New Orleans in the rematch. Now, Melendez then lost the WBA light heavyweight title to Marvin Johnson on November 30th, 1979. Back in New Orleans again. He only fought once more, which was a decision loss at cruiserweight to slick boxer Jesse Burnett. And then he retired from boxing on August 21st, 1980. Following surgery, he repaired detached retina in both eyes, detached retinas in both eyes, right? He retired with a record of 52 wins, 9 losses, 4 draws, and 34 knockouts. Wait a minute, that's his amateur record. Be with me for a second. That's Victor's amateur record. I'm sorry. I put his amateur record down for both of them. I don't know what's going on with my equipment today, man. Get it. Oh boy, bear with me for a second, please. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Victor Melendez, box rack, right? Not Ortiz, Melendez. Trying to get his record right quick. That was either wrote his pro record down both times or his amateur record down both times. Okay, there now. Yeah, his pro record was 55-9, 4 draws. That was his pro record. Amateur record was 1-2. Yeah, that was his professional record. Okay, let's continue. There we go. Goosey Goosey said, I was just reading a few books talking about Carlos Monzon like 2 weeks ago, and boom, I pull up, and you're talking about him today. Yeah, we're gonna get a little bit more into Carlos in a minute too when we finish Victor. We're gonna talk about like 10 Argentine boxers. Now, Victor's greatest fight was against Richie Cates, right? That was his best fight. He was butted by Cates in the third round. He sustained a massive cut, which was literally pouring blood, right? After a 5-minute break, Galindez chose, against medical advice, to continue. And despite blood spurting everywhere, launched an all-out assault on Cates that somehow continued for 12 more rounds. Had Galindez taken the referee's offer to stop the fight, the result would have been a no contest. When he chose to continue, he risked the loss if the loss of blood forced a stoppage, or he got battered so badly from blindness by the blood pouring down his face. He could have been stopped by that. Nonetheless, he chose to continue. Despite 2 additional headbutts from Cates, blood pouring like a river from the cut, and a completely closed right eye from the headbutts, the Cates should have been disqualified. Galindez knocked Cates out with 3 seconds left in the fight. Knocked him out with 3 seconds left in the fight. The man should have been disqualified. But that was Victor. But let's look at some other Argentine fighters. Okay. I think that's what's supposed to be next. Yeah, Victor was 5. 10 great Argentine fighters is 6. Okay, let's look at some other Argentinian fighters. Is that the right term, Argentinian? Oh, man, I'm going the wrong place. Okay, yeah. We're gonna look at some other, just like 10 of the top fighters in Argentina history. Okay. How am I doing offline? Excuse me. We're having problems today. What? Signing? Are you crazy? Oh my goodness. Bear with me for a second. I'm doing off, man. The laptop's still on. I don't understand that. Okay. Slow Wi-Fi. There it is. Oh boy, now I gotta put the password and all that in. There we go. Here we go. Okay, now let's go. And everybody's gonna mess around and leave. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna look at some other Argentinian boxers now. 10 of the greatest Argentinian fighters in boxing history. Okay, first is guess who? Louis Firpo. Louis Firpo. That's the one that fought Jack Dempsey way back when and got knocked out of the ring. Bruce Gass in the building. What's up, Bruce Gass? Remember the fight we was talking about? I think Jack knocked him down like 10 times in 2 rounds. He did get a knockdown on Jack Dempsey though. But he wound up losing. But it was a great fight. But Louis is first. Now known as the Wall Bull of the Pampas, Louis Firpo is a boxing figure whose legend far surpasses his actual ring accomplishments. But His legend is so immense that it's enough to supplement his resume and earn him induction on this list. He's the first name that well-informed boxing fans think of when they think of Argentina, and no article on the nation's boxing history will be complete before mentioning him. A big and athletically powerful fighter, Firpo would have been a handful in any era. In the 1920s, he was a phenom. After debuting in North America, he won 12 straight fights, including victories over Bill Brennan and Jess Willett, to earn a shot at heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey. Now, the showdown between Firpo and Dempsey remains among the most celebrated fights in heavyweight history. That's one we talked about, okay? So let's go to Justo Suarez, another great Argentine fighter. Justo Suarez. It's Justo on the right, laying in the left hand there. Now, Justo Suarez is a figure somewhat like his near contemporary, Louis Firpo. His mystique is bigger than his resume, but like Firpo, the lightweight Little Bull of Matadoros was an important national hero for Argentine boxing fans. He grew up in a large and desperately poor family, and by age 9 was already working in a slaughterhouse to help support the family. He emerged from the streets as a popular brawler, but began to add technique and finesse to his approach as his professional career blossomed. Suarez became the Argentine lightweight champion, and his fights packed stadiums and brought out European royalty and Argentine political leaders. At the time of his death by tuberculosis in 1938, he had begun to emerge as a popular attraction in the United States and was cementing his status as a world title contender. The only 2 losses of his career appeared to come after the dreaded lung disease had started to afflict him. Okay, Justo Suarez. Santos Laciar. Santos Laciar. We're looking at some Argentine fighters right now. This is on Argentina today. There's Santos Laciar. One of 3 flyweights on this list. Santos Laciar was an elite 112-pound world champion in the 1980s. In 1981, he captured the WBA version of the belt by knocking out Peter Mathabula in 7 rounds. At the time, Carlos Monzon had recently retired, and Victor Galindez had died tragically. So Laciar's ascent made him an instant hero to Argentine boxing fans. He dropped the belt to Luis Ibarra in only his 2nd defense, but would reclaim the belt in 1982 by stopping Juan Herrera with a round 13 TKO. Laciar would defeat Ibarra in a rematch and hold the WBA flyweight title for 3 years, defending it often before vacating it to move up to 115 pounds. In 1987, he became a 2-division world champion by beating Gilberto Ramon for the WBC super flyweight belt. Yep, 2-division champion, Santos Laciar. Next, this is a great one here. Fought in the golden age of the heavyweights. Oscar Bonavena. And there he is fighting Joe Frazier. It's Joe Frazier. The other one is Oscar Bonavena. Fought in the golden age. Fought Ali. Oscar Bonavena. Let's talk about Oscar. The Louis Firpo is the more famous Argentine heavyweight, but Oscar Bonavena has the better resume. fighting in the division's golden age of the 1960s and 1970s. He was a top contender who gave some of the best fighters of all time extremely difficult work. Bonavena went the distance twice with Joe Frazier, knocking Smoking Joe down twice and losing by split decision in their first fight. He gave Muhammad Ali a battle before losing by round 15 TKO. Bonavena also went the distance with world champions Floyd Patterson and Jimmy Ellis, and against hard-punching contender Ron Lau. Among the fighters he beat were top contenders Dora Farley and George Chuvalo, as well as European champion Carl Mildenberger, the great Oscar Bonavena. Okay, next is Horacio Accavallo. Talk about some top Argentine fighters now. Horacio Accavallo. Okay, there we go. I lost my place briefly, but I got it back. Horacio Accavallo, standing just 5'1". Horacio Accavallo, 5'1". Horacio Accavallo was a flyweight star in the 1960s who retired as the reigning WBA champion. In 1965, he was the #1 contender for the title, but Salvatore Berini vacated rather than face Accavallo, who had already knocked him down and defeated him by a 10-round decision. To secure the vacant belt, Accavallo traveled to Tokyo, Japan, and beat Katsuyoshi Takayama by split decision. Accavallo lost just twice in more than 80 fights. His first defeat came early in his career, and he did not lose again for nearly a decade until moving up to face undefeated bantamweight Kiyoshi Tanabe late in his career. So he lost 2 fights, one early in his career, one late. Sergio Martinez. Yeah, we can go on past Sergio. And guess who's next? Oh no. We can go on past Victor. There's your curls again, Mike. Rim. Victor. Pascal Perez. Yeah, the great Pascal Perez. The great Pascal Perez is next. Now, at just 4'11" tall, Pascal Perez is the first world champion from Argentina. He was an Olympic gold medalist in 1948 as well. I think he won that first world title in 1954. And he fought as an amateur for an extended period of time before turning pro. Yeah. He won the flyweight world title in 1954. That's how he became the first Argentine champion. And he held it for 6 years, defending it 9 times, while fighting 20 more times in non-title fights. He was somewhat unusual for an Argentine fighter in that he traveled abroad to fight on a regular basis. In the Ultimate Book of Boxing list, Teddy Atlas rates Perez as the 4th best flyweight of all time, and Bert Sugar places him 2nd. That's high praise. Teddy Atlas got him 4th, Bert Sugar got him 2nd, and next is, the legendary Nicolino Loche. Incredible. Well, you got to be a great defensive fighter if your nickname is the Untouchable, right? You better be a good defensive fighter. Nicknamed the Untouchable, Nicolino Loche had a style that ran counter to the come forward brawling that is most often associated with Argentine greats. He ranks among the top defensive wizards in boxing history, but he was no runner. He most often stood directly in front of an opponent and used his otherworldly reflexes to evade punches with his hands hanging at his side, right? Loach once won all 15 rounds on all three judges' cards against Antonio Cervantes, right? A Hall of Famer. He shut out the great Antonio Cervantes. The only fault Loach had as a fighter was his lack of knockout power. In 136 fights, he had just 14 stoppages. But regardless of that, he was truly elite. In the Ultimate Book of Boxing list, Teddy Atlas ranks Loach as the second best junior welterweight of all time, behind only Aaron Pryor. And Bert Sugar lists him as third behind Pryor and Julio Cesar Chavez. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, Teddy Atlas put him in front of Chavez. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Okay, what did they say he had? He had didn't have power. I should have did it when I was right. He had let's do this real quick. We were looking at the good knockout race. I can't find it. He had like 14 knockouts in like 100 and something fights. Okay. We'll have to read this whole thing again to get that. Here we go. "136 fights, he had 14 stoppages. What is that knockout rate? Wow. He had a 1.2 win the knockout ratio. 1.2. Okay, but anyway, next after Nicolino Loach is Carlos Monzon. This is number one, best Argentine fighter of all time. Carlos Monzon. Okay, King Carlos. Now, King Carlos Monzon held the undisputed world middleweight title for 7 years in the 1970s, defending it 14 times. A methodical ring general, he broke down opponents and brutalized them over rounds. And while nothing about him seemed dazzling, his complete package made him among the great fighters of all time. He was a major celebrity in South America and led a violent and turbulent life outside the ring. He was arrested numerous times for physically assaulting paparazzi and was sent to prison in 1988 for beating his girlfriend to death. He actually threw her off a second floor balcony. In 1995, he died in a car accident while on a weekend furlough. Still can't get over it. In prison for murder on a weekend furlough. And was going back. Give the average murderer a weekend furlough. Don't look for him to see him back. You're going to have to go get him. Okay? The prison authorities are going to have to go find him. Now, personal failings aside, Monzon is unquestionably the greatest fighter to ever come out of Argentina. He is in any educated debate about the greatest middleweight of all time. In the Ultimate Book of Boxing list, Bert Sugar ranks him fourth behind only Mickey Walker, Stanley Ketchel, and Harry Greb. You got to be crazy. Mickey Walker, I can see Harry Greb, but Mickey Walker and Stanley Ketchel, come on, man. What about Marvin Hagler? Wow. Who was that, Bert Sugar? Well, I don't know. Bert Sugar was actually living back there when those guys fought, so hey, I don't know. We saw him fight. And I've only seen him, read about him. Hardly even see any film on those guys. But anyway, Teddy Atlas had King Carlos behind Ketchel and Greb. Wow. Okay. That's what I say about Sugar Ray Robinson, though. Yeah, I had him like number 5 at middleweight. He's number 1 at welterweight, but middleweight lower down the totem pole. Now, what's next? I had a couple more things I wanted to talk about. That was number 6. Oh, one more. Floyd and the Argentine fighter Marcos Maidana. Let's take a look at that. And I done scratched it out. before I even had a chance to pull it up. I don't know why this thing did this to me. I used to have my writing in nice white against a black background, but now it's gray against a white background. And I'm blind in one eye and can't see out the other. But I don't think I've been doing too bad. Okay. This is Floyd Mayweather, Marcus Madonna, round by round. Okay. There they are. Floyd Mayweather and Marcus Madonna. Okay. Let's talk about that. Floyd Mayweather fight, round by round punch stats versus Marcos Madonna. Oh my goodness, it's going to be bad here. Now, Floyd Money Mayweather earned every penny of his $30 million payday with a majority decision victory over Marcos Madonna, right? The Argentine challenger brought a flurry of energy and punches to the ring, and at times had the look of the more dominant fighter. But as the fight wore on, his output dropped, while Floyd's jaw-dropping efficiency continued. Now, it is easy to get lost in the numbers, if not downright fun, especially when two opposing styles get together and create all sorts of controversy, as either side makes the case for the decision. Okay, let's look at it. Okay, let's look at the final totals. Now, Madonna tried to bully his way to a decision and clearly understood that those who have come closest to upending Floyd have done so by sheer volume of output. Now, the predictable approach was obvious from the onset of the fight. It made for quality entertainment, which does much to explain why many felt in the early goings that Madonna was in control. And in the early rounds, a lot of people thought Madonna was in control in the early round. It also explains why some feel Madonna was robbed, but efficiency most certainly mattered. In round 2, Mayweather hit on a 21-35 ratio. Through round 3, he had hit on 67% of his power punches. Madonna, 35%. Okay? Madonna's getting gassed by the middle rounds was a major narrative, right? And the numbers show it came to fruition in a big way. He came out headhunting, knowing full well a decision likely wouldn't go his way. The disparity continued to grow. In round 4, Mayweather hit on 80% of his 15 power punches. Okay? Madonna rammed his total to 49, but only landed 15. Round 5 saw Mayweather deal with a cut from an accidental headbutt the round prior, but totals after the 6th revealed he had doubled up on Madonna again. Okay? The numbers continued to trend in Mayweather's favor, with the cut over his eye somehow Mayweather continued to keep jumping on. Now the numbers continued to trend in Mayweather's favor. the cut over his eye somehow staying shut. Madonna threw just 77 punches in the 8th round. Right? Just 77 punches in the 8th round. Landing 29%. Through 10 rounds, Mayweather landed 55% of his punches to 25% for Madonna. ESPN's Myron Metcalf summarizes the lessons taught via the numbers in an apt manner. The round-by-round numbers deal with a cut from an accidental headbutt. The round keeps jumping on me, man. I'm supposed to be way down here. I'm almost done. Yeah. Myron Metcalf said, the round-by-round numbers speak for themselves. See, it did it again. But anyway, the round-by-round numbers speak for themselves. I'm not even going to really get through this because I'm at the end. At face value, Madonna had his opportunities where he wanted him for most of the fight. He kept Floyd away from the center of the ring and on the defense. So when the winner was announced, the crowd reacted in a predictable manner. As Sports Illustrated Chris Mannix muses, it's as if the first time Mayweather has a close fight, fans expect him to receive a loss. He so routinely dominated the competition that anything other than that sort of showing should be a loss. Mayweather himself put it best after the fight. But the numbers tell a different story. Yes, Madonna gave Mayweather the first cut of his career. Yes, he landed more punches than any of Money's opponents, but it came at a statistical cost that ultimately cost Madonna the match. Yeah, Floyd clearly won that fight. But you know, like the man said from Sports Illustrated, anytime Floyd was winning by such a wide margin, so much at the time that as soon as he got in a close fight, everybody say he lost. You know, like Floyd couldn't win a close fight. Everybody was expecting him to win widely so much. As soon as he got in a close fight, he had to lose, but he didn't. The judges got it right. He fired on, he won. What's happening? How are you? We just looked at some Argentina today. I think tomorrow we're going to do a profile on Layla Ali and Christy Martin, and then we're going to look at the fight they had between the two. Life and careers of Layla Ali and Christy Martin, and then we're going to look at their fight they had tomorrow, Friday. Okay. Let's salute the fine only one. How are you today? Yeah, this thing just kept jumping. That was rough. Appreciate everybody for hitting the like button. Somebody get me 60 subscribers. Just, go out there and tell people hit the like. Hit the like. I need 60 to get to 1,000. But we're gonna get there. Don't worry. There's Layla Ali right there. She said, I told you yesterday, she said she needs 8 months to prepare for Clarissa Shields. She need an 8-month camp. Is that a long camp? 8 months? Wow. All right, man. We got Xander Zayas, and we got the GOAT in the ring this weekend, though. We got 15 minutes. Oh, well, we only got 12 now. This was a long one today, but yeah, it was Argentina. We are Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? How are you today? Yeah, we doing every Thursday now. History of boxing in some different countries. Yep. Sorry about that Floyd thing. That thing just kept jumping on me. I'm all the way at the bottom. Finish, I look, it's back at the top. But yeah, Floyd won that fight. But Chris Mannix said it perfectly. People so used to Floyd winning by wide margins the first time in a close fight, everybody's screaming that he lost. Why can't Floyd win a close fight, right? But they had the rematch. Wasn't it an immediate rematch, right? And it was more clearer the second time. But he wasn't the first one too, yeah. Let's look at the stats that I just was quoting, you know? Yeah. Madonna threw and landed more punches, but he threw more. Well, he didn't land more, but he landed more punches on Floyd than any other opponent had. And Madonna kept him where he wanted to fight at, away from the center of the ring for most of the fight. Yeah. That's another reason a lot of people say Madonna won, because he kept Floyd out of the middle of the ring where Floyd normally fights that, but Floyd beat him up along the ropes. He was still landing his shots, playing his defense, you know. You don't have to be in the middle to be a good Nicolino Loesch used to lay on the ropes. Nicolino Loesch was doing the rope-a-dope long before Ali and Foreman, but it just wasn't, Ali put the name rope-a-dope to it, but Nicolino Loesch was doing the rope-a-dope back in like the 40s sometime, with his hands down by his sides, okay? And Nicolino Loesch didn't dance and move as a defensive fighter. He stood right in front of his opponent and dodged punches, with his hands down by his side. Yeah. Nicolino did. He was a bad man. He could be the greatest defensive fighter of all time. So many people don't mention him when they're talking about great defensive fighters. So they say Willie Pep, they say Floyd, they say Sweet Pea. Nicolino Loesch is right there. Could be better, you know, by the way he did it. He didn't use a lot of movement, foot movement stuff. He used like upper body movement and head movement, that sort of thing too. Dodge his punches. That's why people always say, so once they don't have the power to keep somebody off, you don't have, power's not the only thing to keep a person off of you with. Okay, use your feet, right? Use your ring generalship to keep somebody off of you. You don't have to have power to hold somebody off of you. Right? Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming through today. We get ready to wrap it up. Tomorrow we're gonna have Layla Ali, the life and career of Layla Ali and Christy Martin. They both fit into one show, and then we're gonna go over their fight they had. They did fight. Mm-hmm. Layla and Christy did. Christy Martin was like a pioneer. Yeah. The coal miner's daughter. Mm-hmm. Pioneer women's boxing. Way back there. Layla Ali and Ann Wolf never fought though, did they? I don't think so. No. Everybody wanted that one. But Layla, 24 fights, 21 knockouts. But I don't want to see her in no GOAT though, not now. She's almost 50. She hadn't fought in like, damn near 20 years. She said she needed an 8-month camp. Wow. That's a long camp, ain't it? Sometimes people done fought 2 times in 8 months. She gonna be in camp all that time. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Of course, Layla won because she never lost, so she won against Christy Martin. Layla was undefeated. They fought in Okay, I'm not a robot. Pull it up. There it is. Not Ann Wolf. Yeah, we're getting ready to get out of here in a minute. I wanted to see Layla Ali versus Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter. When did they fight? 2000 and something. Christy Martin. There it is. They fought in damn. Once I get off of here, it'll come right up. Yeah. $2003. Right. Yeah, 2003. Yeah, August 23rd, 2003. That wasn't that long after Layla Ali and Jackie Frazier lied. She only had like 13 fights. Joe Frazier's daughter. That was on the anniversary of 30-year anniversary of the fight of the century. Ali Frazier won. Now that's iconic right there. You don't get no more iconic than that. On the 30-year anniversary, the 2 daughters fought, right? Frazier Ali won. Don't get no more iconic than that. 30-year anniversary, the 2 daughters fought. Wow. They call it Frazier Ali 4. And Ali won that one too. Yeah. Joe Frazier's daughter was a pretty good fighter though, but she only fought like, I think she said 13 fights. And I think she only lost 1. That was the one to Layla Ali. Yeah. She was like, she might have been in her 30s. She was older when she started her career, though. She might have been in her 30s, but she had that talent. It was in her genes, you know, because she was a pretty good fighter. Yeah. She wanted to fight. I don't think Marvis wanted to be a boxer. I remember Larry Holmes was hitting Marvis a couple of times, then waiting for the referee. They would hit him again, waiting for the referee. Joe Frazier was Marvis's trainer. I know Joe Frazier wanted to jump in there so bad and fight. You know, he see his son in there getting beat up and you're a former boxer. But no, Joe, you're a trainer now. Yeah. And then Marvis's last fight was Tyson. Tyson got him out of there in 30 seconds. And Joe said, okay, you don't have to fight. 30 seconds, man. Mike got him up out of there. That was crazy. Yeah. Okay. Let's get ready to get up out of here. But I appreciate y'all, man. BN Boxing News, what's up? BN Boxing News, salute. BN Boxing News, the other day he was going, I think he said Caracas, right? BN Boxing News, Caracas. I think that's what he said he was going to next. Yeah. Probably there now. That's a hard-working brother there, BN Boxing News. He deserves every vacation he gets, man. Because when he's not on vacation, he's either going to work, coming from work, or at work. Him and Old School, some of the hardest 2 brothers I know. Salute BN Boxing News. Good to see you today, bro. Okay, cool brother there, BN Boxing News. Yeah. We was pulled up to the bar at the meet and greet. Yeah, BN. Cool guy, man. But I appreciate everybody that stopped through today. BN Boxing News. Thomas Hill, You Find Only One, Bruce Gas, Sergio Mora. Yeah, I wrote Sergio instead of somebody. Lucy Goosey, B3, Terry Akers, Al Booger, Mike Mazik, Crush the Legend, Mike Grimm. I missed somebody. I wrote down Sergio Mora's name instead of somebody. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out who it was. I think I got everybody. I got Sergio Mora on it. I think I wrote that when Aunt told me, when Aunt corrected me. I was talking about Sergio Martinez, but it was really Sergio Mora. That's what I think I wrote his name down. Yeah, I didn't miss anybody. Because Aunt said it was Sergio Mora on the zone, not Martinez. And I think I just jotted his name down. And Miss Cass. Let everybody have a great afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow. I think it's gonna be Valerie Moffat. That was another good name, man. Yeah. Valerie Moffat, yeah. I think it's gonna be Layla Ali and Christy Martin tomorrow, and then we're gonna talk about their fight, okay? But everybody have a great afternoon. I think is it a car? I think it's a car tomorrow. I don't know. I think I heard somebody tonight or tomorrow or something. Shoot. It's only a Google away. Let's look real quick. I heard somebody say that earlier today. You know, let me check real quick before we go. Yeah, we're gonna get some link time tomorrow. It's Friday. This one was a long one. Okay, let's see. What is today anyway? The 24th? Yeah. I ain't spelled schedule. Okay. Let's see. Coming up now. I heard somebody say something about tonight. That would be great. No, ain't no fights until Saturday, 26th. But then we got some good ones. That is a great card with Xander Zayas. You know, it's the top ranked thing. So, you know, Shoo on there. Emiliano Vargas. Some of the Bob Father's youngsters. Rohan Polanco. Quentin Randall. Could be good. Polanco and Randall. Wow. Okay. And we'll be back tomorrow. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxstorian bringing you all of that boxing history. Everybody have a great afternoon. Appreciate y'all 1,000%. Studio audience, wake up out there. Okay. Don't leave no trash out there. Everybody have a great day. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, end stream.